Welcome to the Brave Little Podcast. This is a special podcast because we have some special, super early, fresh hot takes on Solo, a Star Wars story, and we're going to get right into it. But joining me as always from Los Angeles, California, Aaron Alvarado. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I am sitting on the edge of my seat waiting to hear the details about this Solo movie. I cannot believe that Skylar actually got to see this thing early. It's amazing.
And so that's the intro for Skylar out of Dallas, Texas, and out of a early premiere press screening of Solo, a Star Wars story. Skylar,
so I was able to use some of my connections and the people I know in this industry in Dallas, which is there's an industry here. Don't worry about it. But they were showing it at the theater. They got the IMAX screen, so I got to see an IMAX showing of it, which I wouldn't have been able to do with Movie Pass, our
2D?
presenting sponsor. 2D.
Whoa.
Yes, they said they would only be doing this movie in R2D2.
Oh boy.
Oh, there it is. The puns are early, coming in hot.
No R2D2 and no C3PO in this movie.
Did you
Spoilers right off
did
the
you
bat.
take some?
Love
Did you
it.
take someone to the screening, or did you go solo?
Riding solo. It was a great time though. There was a nice energy in there. There was some like a caricature types of Star Wars fans. Maybe the comic book guy from Star Wars or from The Simpsons. He might have been
Is that
there.
who you sent us a picture of in the thread?
That was him. Yeah, he was standing in line with me. It was a real sweetheart.
He was wearing the dopest Kylo shirt I've ever seen.
Dude is a big Kylo fan. Like big
Big
Kylo
fan in general, from what I can tell.
Also an incel, but
No, he actually told me it's by choice for him.
There's a term for that. It's called volcel, voluntary celibate.
Full cells aren't killing anybody. They're just watching early screenings of Star Wars.
Killing large bags of popcorn, though.
Dude,
Hey, guys.
He was so proud of his bucket that he spent $20 and then has to pay $5 every time to get a refill. And he's like, dude, I've cracked the system. I'm just sitting there like, oh, bro, you don't know about trash pea corn, man. You don't know about it. Oh, gosh.
He clearly doesn't listen to the pod.
No.
Not a listener. Although he was ready to talk about the day after tomorrow with me and Dennis Quaid's performance, which I was so down for. So.
Wait, Jake Gyllenhaal's Day After Tomorrow?
The very same, yes.
Oh my god!
Because I might have accidentally said Randy Quaid. He's like, actually, that was his brother Dennis.
You didn't accidentally say Randy.
Okay, I did a bit with him. I thought he was gonna buy it, but no.
Because Randy wouldn't have been in that film. He doesn't believe in climate change.
No, gosh. The movie was very ahead of its time. They figured out climate change way before the rest of us.
The rest of us have not figured it out, by the way. But
no, we have not. There's no
so
climate change.
let's get into this. You saw Solo. We're recording this on Monday. Okay,
I got out of the theater within the last hour.
Like you just got out. This is fresh out. You haven't shared your opinion of this film with anyone. Maybe your wife.
He tried, but she
so you
said
haven't
no.
expressed your opinion to anyone.
Nope. I have kept it tight inside so that I can explode all over you guys with it.
Okay, so is Monday, May 21. It comes out this Thursday. How did you manage? Let's first talk about how you got into there. Then we're gonna.
I told you. I'm just gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it vague. Yeah. But I have connections, and so I don't want to. I mean, just. That's
so David Lowery, friend of the pod, who we know but can't officially say for sure will be directing a future Star Wars film.
David's right now out filming a project in California. So
yes,
he's like
California, aka Pinewood Studios in London.
He's actually not. I wish he was, but no, he's been doing some really cool. Dude, he shared some like video of a rig he had set up on an old crop duster. He's got the best life. Like it's so cool. It's
okay.
Well, dude,
he doesn't have the best life because he didn't see Solo tonight. So you got tickets. You saw it tonight.
2 months ago. He's seen the Miller Lord cut.
No, he has not.
No, he has not. But after seeing this movie, this is the first thing I'll say about it. I desperately want to see the Miller Lord cut because I just can't even fathom what it was like after seeing. I I'm so curious.
Okay. Okay, well, let's get into it. We've been talking about this film, the build up to this film, the troubled production, right? The firing of the two directors. We got all three of us railed on the first two trailers, that the teaser and the full length.
We're all Miller Lord fans, right?
We're all Miller Lord fans here. None of us here wanted a Han Solo film. Okay.
Nope.
But we were all on the same page of, if they're gonna make it, I guess it's, might as well be someone like Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Yeah.
Then they get fired 3 weeks before finishing film. Ron Howard comes in, reportedly reshoots 80% of the film. Ron Howard hasn't made a good film since the 1990s.
I can confirm it's at least 80% because Clint wasn't involved in the project before Ron came along. And Clint's in like 75 to 80% of the scenes.
Is he Han?
No, he's Chewbacca. They didn't even have to do any prosthetic or anything. He's straight up doing it. No CGI, just Clint Howard as Chewbacca.
So we're gonna
ridiculous.
keep this conversation non-spoiler for those paying attention. And right now on the Facebook Live feed, that is to the one. But those that are viewing after the fact, those that are listening to the actual audio version of this, we're gonna keep this spoiler free. But let's get right into this. We've been teasing this out. I really just want to get into it. It's 71% Rotten Tomatoes right now. It has not been certified yet because it may not end up being fresh, which is why it can't get certified. But I want to know, Skylar, for you, what is your Rotten Tomato score for this film?
This is not a 71. This is like a 58.
Oh,
No, I'm playing. It's like an 88. It's so good.
What?
I love this movie.
Wow.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
No, you
I
did not.
It's easily an 88. Yeah, I think an 88 is comfortable. I think that's allowing for myself to like say that there's a little bit of hype in the moment right now, but yeah, an 88. It feels
88?
Right. Yeah.
That's higher than Rotten Tomatoes scored Annihilation, I believe.
Oh, Annihilation's like a 98, so that's insane. Like, Rotten Tomatoes is wrong a lot. So,
Wait, but Rotten Tomatoes I think it has it at 87 or 88, but
yeah, but he's saying in his mind it should be a 98.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying Annihilation should be a 98. That's what I'm saying.
On Skylar Tomatoes, it's a 98.
Skylar Tomatoes.
Everything skews a little high.
Subscribe.
Skylar, 88.
Yeah.
That is pretty high praise.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah. So
I really enjoyed this.
Let's start with the things that troubled us. Let's talk through what was working. Let's start with Mr. Alden Ehrenreich himself. Did he do it for you as Han Solo?
You know what? Alden wasn't great, but it didn't matter. I'll say this: he kind of built momentum as the movie went along, and by the end of the third act, I was buying it. He got more and more Han-y as the movie went along, and by the third act, he was like, "Yeah, pretty decent." But at the beginning, he's not good. As a movie, though, it kind of does the same thing. It really builds momentum, and by the end, you're having a really good time. And the first act's pretty rough, though.
Okay.
I can't defend the first act. And I'm not really here to defend this movie. I still much prefer Rogue One. I'd say this is my 6th or 7th favorite Star Wars movie.
Is it your least favorite of the ones that they've released since Disney acquired?
No. I don't want to say which one. No, it's better than Force Awakens.
Okay. Wow. Force Awakens?
Yes, of course. Force Awakens is a ripoff.
There's no way this movie is better than The Force Awakens, but I mean, I'll keep an open mind going in, but that's insane.
It's way more fun.
That is insane. You literally said the first whole act was rough. Force Awakens has 0 rough acts.
Except the second and third and first. But here nor there. No, I'll say this about this movie. It starts slow, but as it builds momentum, it becomes a Star Wars story. It does the title so much justice because it fulfills it. As I've been reading a lot of Star Wars novels lately, it feels like a Star Wars novel. It feels like this cool little small story in the Star Wars universe. There's a few things that made me cringe really hard. I don't want to spoil anything, but in the first act, they do some name explanations for characters, and I cringed really
it's not a
hard.
spoiler to say that at the very beginning of this production, they said you will learn how Han got his name, which is something I've been fearing.
Yeah,
So I'm
it's
assuming
worse
he's
than
given
you
a
ever
name in
expect.
a situation where he's by himself or something like that, and so he's given the name of Solo.
Yeah.
Is that essentially what happens?
I'll just go ahead and spoil it because it should be
No, don't
spoiled.
spoil it. Don't spoil it.
So
Don't spoil
bad.
it. We
It's
promise
so
no
bad.
spoilers. We promise no
Ugh.
spoilers. Don't spoil it. Let's move on to the next point.
Okay.
Is Chewbacca back?
He's back. He's young. He is more a Wookiee than we've ever seen him. Like, this is probably prime Chewbacca. Like, this is, like 94 Chewbacca for Jordan, Like, this is just primo Chewbacca.
Okay. Wow.
And it's different because, we got rid of the old man playing him. We got this young Swedish kid who likes Hobbit jokes.
Yes,
So I'm
he
a
does.
supporter. And he absolutely killed it. Like, I thought he was great. He's a way better actor than Alden. He shows a lot more range. But, man, I really enjoy Chewbacca in this movie. And with that said, he's probably like my 7th favorite character in this movie.
So who is your favorite?
Without a doubt, it's L3, who stole the movie in every scene she's in. And that's saying something because her partner, her buddy, also steals the movie and gives one of the coolest performances I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. Donald Glover killed it. He is so good. Like, his little moments in the trailer, I was worried that that's all we were going to get. Every single line he delivers, it's like Billy D's right there. But better. Because, we didn't really get that much Lando in the original trilogy, people kind of remember it more, I think, than there really was. This is a lot of Lando, and it is just so good. He kills every line he delivers. He doesn't take any scene off. He doesn't seem like he's being, nervous. He doesn't seem like he's bringing any expectations into the role. He doesn't look like he's trying, or Alden looks like he's trying to be Harrison Ford. He doesn't seem like he's trying to be Billy D. He's just is. And he's amazing. He's Lando. And it's so, so good. Oh. That, his relationship with L3, too, that's the movie for me. And, that's what made it so good. And that's part of why it starts off slow, because they're second act introductions. But, having read a novel in the last month that has L3 as a big character, I was pretty excited to meet her. And she blew me away. She was even better in this. She's a top 3 droid in Star Wars history, for sure.
And so, who are the twos? Number 1, number 2.
K2 is definitely top 3 droid for me.
Whoa,
I love K2, and then R2 probably in there. C3PO is the worst, so R2's probably number 1.
Yeah, R2. Yeah, R2 is number 1. Wow.
C3PO can die in hell. So.
Okay. Okay. L3, not what I was expecting.
Yeah, dude, amazing.
Okay. Not a big Phoebe Waller-Bridge fan, but okay.
You need to get up on Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
I've literally seen 0 pieces of content that feature her, by the way. I know nothing about her. So.
I recommend going and watching her interview on the Graham Norton show.
Okay.
It's really good.
How's the rest of the cast? How's Emilia Clarke?
Emilia Clarke is very Emilia Clarke. She's very solid. She brings it. She is a very different character than you have seen her in Game of Thrones, and this is going to be crazy, but she has range, and she's interesting. Her character has a lot of things about her that you learn as it goes along. There's a little bit of an arc, and I enjoyed her very much, actually. She killed it. So that's the thing, is everyone around Alden did so well to cover it up for any mistakes he had. It's kind of like Dirk on defense.
Tandy Newton?
Dirk is a terrible defender, but you put Tyson Chandler next to him, and you put Jason Kidd next to him. It doesn't matter. They just cover up for his inefficiencies. So that way, when he's on offense, he can kill it and win a championship.
How come we couldn't get Dirk inside the Chewbacca costume?
Yeah.
No Germans allowed in Chewbacca. Only Swedes and
yeah,
that's the new rule. They're peaceful people.
A Tandy Newton.
Who?
Tandy Newton.
Unfamiliar.
Oh, okay.
What's she play?
She is.
From
She plays
Westworld.
Condoleezza Rice in the Oliver Stone masterpiece W.
Yes, and I
But
believe she
more
played
popular
Condoleezza
for
Rice in
Westworld.
Mission Impossible
She
2.
plays. She plays May. Maybe
She was
what is her
actually
name?
she was great in the movie I saw this year called Gringo. She played the cheating wife in that.
You saw Gringo?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, I actually kind of wanted to see that.
It's not
I
in
just
my
never
top
made it to the
20.
theater.
In the film that you
In
just
your
saw,
Top 20?
she was Woody Harrelson's like,
I'm
member of his
well
gang.
aware of who she is now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was she good?
I can't talk very much about her character.
Ooh,
Okay.
juicy.
Say no more. Say no more. Okay, all right. Woody Harrelson himself. Was he just Woody?
I was very concerned since like trailer 1, maybe since announcement, like that first picture where we saw everybody in the Millennium Falcon, and they had Woody Harrelson there. I just thought he stood out. Like, it's weird seeing Woody Harrelson in a Star Wars movie. Like, I'm not used to having somebody who is so established outside of Star Wars, like just kind of jump into one of these movies.
Sure.
Like, if you look at Rogue One, you had people who were like different levels of fame, but nobody at Woody Harrelson level. But he was incredible. I loved Woody Harrelson. And he did some really interesting things, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I feel like I'm gushing about every performance, but
You are. I'm about to move on to Paul Bettany. Are you
dude,
gonna
is
continue
that a
gushing?
spoiler? Because here's the thing: I didn't know Paul Bettany was in this movie.
Oh, yeah. No, he's in this movie.
He's in the trailer, isn't he?
No. What's that?
No,
Isn't he in the
he's not in the
trailer?
trailer.
Yeah, he's in the trailer.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
in the
yeah, he's
trailer.
all over the trailer.
Yep.
He's the big shot gangster putting together a crew. Yeah, that's Paul Bettany.
I had no clue he was in the trailer.
Yeah, no. He's in every trailer. There's a whole bunch of scenes they've released with him. Yeah.
I've been avoiding trailers for a while, but yeah.
So Paul Bettany, just FYI, fun fact, he was played by the actor that played Omar in The Wire. I want to say Michael K. Williams. He was a CGI character as the big shot gangster putting together a crew. And upon reshoots, he couldn't get back because he was filming something in Europe or somewhere else, somewhere in another part of the country. And so he couldn't get to Pinewood. And so he, of course, Ron Howard gets out his Rolodex and he goes through the Da Vinci Code people he worked with and was like, Paul Bettany, husband to Jennifer Connelly.
He's playing the same character for Da Vinci Code. And so, like, you know the scene where you, like, come in and it's Vader's head and he's, like, just finishing up in his, like, little sphere?
Yeah.
They do the same thing, but he's whipping himself. And so, like, the camera just kind of
Nice.
comes in.
Same character.
If you see his face, you can see, like, where he's been whipping himself. Like, it's really interesting.
It's too bad he didn't. Too bad he didn't bring back his character from The Replacements and have him kicking field goals.
That's true. Although he does kind of channel...
Not Paul Bettany.
That's not Paul Bettany.
Yeah,
That's a different
pretty
Englishman.
racist.
That's a Welsh actor.
They all look
Now,
the same to me.
You may have seen him as Chaucer. Chaucer. Chaucer.
Dude, I would know. I saw that movie
You
seven
would
times.
know. I don't question you. You absolutely know.
It's definitely not him in the
I
Replacements.
don't know. It's been a long time.
So great.
The guy smoking the whole time, like he looks more like Jason Statham than he does.
So okay, all right. So Alden's the only one you're saying that just flat out didn't do good.
Well, no, like I'm not even like trying to bury him. Like, don't take this as me dragging Alden. Like, he was fine, but everyone else definitely carried the weight of like not having a great performance from the lead actor. Like, it becomes an ensemble movie as opposed to it shouldn't have been called Solo. That's like number one, should not have been called Solo. Huge mistake.
Okay.
Like, I think.
What would you have named this film?
The Kessel Run, something like that. Like, just something that makes it feel more episodic, because that's what it is. It feels like just this little slice of a time in the Star Wars universe. Now, this happens to be something that like does affect this character that we grow to love, and
See,
but I think that it could have been just as good if you didn't have Han Solo in this movie and you had like any other Star Wars person. Because, by the way, the person you're thinking of was Reese Ifans, who like
Yeah.
looks he was in Snowden. Like he looks nothing
Oh
like
yeah,
Was he really?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He plays his like mentor turned like bad dude.
That's Paul Bettany.
Basically.
You're bad.
Basically.
Yeah, but I mean, like the fact that they made it about Solo is almost disappointing because like it would have been just as cool of a story to do something like that's the thing is this model like what they did could be replicated to tell all these stories that we like that are out there in the Star Wars universe because it's such a cool universe. And one of the things I just want to say that disappointed me about Last Jedi, which I love now, don't be confused, love Last Jedi, great movie, #1 Star Wars movie all time.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's very few creatures. Like it's very human centric, and like the creatures are almost like little bit parts. Like the caretakers, like it's funny, haha. There's this creature.
Yeah.
This movie is so creature heavy, and it's awesome. Like we get introduced to.
Oh wait,
so
you're
many
saying the
species.
Last Jedi there weren't a lot of creatures?
There weren't.
No.
So there were
We're
more.
not.
Just to be clear, there's more creatures in the Last Jedi than any other Star Wars film by far. I
No,
thought you
this
were
movie-
saying Solo there weren't a lot of
No,
creatures. 'Cause
Solo has like 100 times more creatures than Last Jedi.
Oh, okay. I look forward to seeing that because up until now, Last Jedi has held the crown for by far the most creatures.
Dude, The Last Jedi is all about humanoids. It's like
No,
a
it's not.
humanoid
No, The
savior.
Last Jedi. Absolutely not.
Watch humanoid save
I absolutely
everyone.
resent that implication across the board because it is 100% false. Like that was.
Are you
one
counting
of Rian
the
Johnson's-
casino planet?
Yes, yeah,
Oh
yes.
my
I mean the
God.
PER of creatures on Canto Bite. I mean the slugging
Canto
percentage.
Okay, there's
Are you
two gambling scenes in this movie. Two gambling scenes.
Porgs were a
Each
major
one?
part of this film. The caretakers were a major part of this film. Like
No,
everywhere
they're-
they go, there's creatures that are assisting, that are helping. You're telling me Solo has more creatures than The Last Jedi? Because I will be watching that film.
Dude.
I tell you, Skylar, on Thursday, I'll be watching that film. If it has one less creature, I'm going to lose my mind.
It has multiples more creatures
Okay.
than The Last Jedi.
Loving this.
Multiple.
Now I'm
I haven't
sold.
seen it. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailers,
know
and
what?
it looks like there's creatures around a casino table, and that's about it.
Dude, there are creatures ever. There's creatures who are part of the crew that aren't Chewbacca.
Nice.
Is that John Favreau? Is that a
Favreau's one of
Wookiee?
those people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Favreau, he's cute. He sounds like one of the guys from Car Talk. He's great. But no, I mean, it's so creature laden, and I loved it. Like, of course, still the main characters. Although, like, L3 is maybe the most human droid we've ever had. Like, she's really interesting, and she's very current. She might turn David off. I think Aaron will love L3, but David might not like L3.
Why wouldn't I like? Why would
She's-
Aaron like and I wouldn't?
She's a woman. No, Aaron's gonna
Oh.
like her.
Mhm.
So she has.
She's
I know David doesn't like when women talk
exactly.
or have opinions. You're always saying "shut up" to women.
Well, he actually shushes them. It's not even shut up. He's just like shh, quiet.
Yeah. So I think there's like 1,000 things that L3 says that David would have gone shh.
Men are talking right now.
The men are talking L3, but she is definitely the comedic force of this movie. Like, it's not funny, but there's a lot of good laughs.
Can you
It's
rank-
definitely not Ace Ventura.
Can you rank like who has the most dialogue? Like just the top five.
Top 5 dialogue. So, Han, Woody, Lando, Emilia, L3.
Ooh,
Interesting.
Chewbacca.
Chewie speaks mostly in Wookiee.
Yeah, that still counts.
Another
Unless you're
character
gonna
speaks
be
Wookiee at
speciest.
one point, and it's kind of bad.
He does
And
what?
I've made another character speaks Wookiee to Chewbacca, and it's hard to watch.
Oh no.
Oh, which character is that? A spoiler?
It's Alden.
But is it that Chewbacca mask lady? Did they stunt cast her?
She is stunt cast because they have a scene with a bunch of Wookiees, and she's. The weird thing is, like, they could have just had her wear the costume, and she could have been a little Wookiee, but they had her in the Wookiee mask, like from the video, and it's. And another thing, they could have had her in the background, like you wouldn't have even noticed her. She's
Yeah.
in focus, 5 feet in front of the camera. Like, You can't miss her. It's very.
So how was speaking of stunt casting? How was Peter Dinklage?
Dinklage? I mean, this is like maybe more offensive than your mistake with last podcast. Warwick Davis is not Peter Dinklage, and I think Warwick Davis is going to kick your ass for saying that.
I know Warwick is in the film.
He might not kick it. He might punch your ass actually. But
Warwick Davis has a better resume than Peter Dinklage. Who are we kidding?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Willow
Peter
alone
Dinklage
is
the
better
one
than
thing that we all love.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we get it. You did X-Men. Find something else you can do.
He was the worst part of that X-Men movie too.
He was in 3
really
Billboards.
No, Peter Dinklage wasn't in this.
No, he wasn't. No.
Sure, everyone
Should have been.
Because he was in 3 Billboards and then Avengers: Infinity War, and he's just been like stunt casted in so many things recently.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to
There's
see
not
if
really-
you believed he was in it.
There's not really any big stunt casting. I mean, like, the worst thing is when Clint Howard shows up and you're just like, ugh, why is Clint Howard in this?
They don't even put a mask on him.
No, dude, he plays this weird creature.
Yeah, I was going to say he counts as one of the alien creatures you're
Yeah,
talking
David
about.
counted. It's one of the creatures.
Humanoid, kind of.
That's funny. So,
yeah.
I have a lot of questions, but I don't want to get into spoilers. But overall, this film was better than you were expecting.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the hard things is, like, I was thinking about what I wanted to say. So I didn't want to, like, raise your guys' expectations so that you came in, like, all of a sudden expecting a ton, which I might have done on accident.
I expected so many species. You didn't even understand. I will be counting the number of species I see on screen.
There's
'Cause I know how
so
many were
many
in
more
the Last
species
Jedi.
on screen than you've ever seen in a Star Wars movie.
There were over 1,227 species featured in The Last Jedi. If there is one less, now you said multiples more, so I'm expecting,
Yes.
you know,
How many
at least
species did you say?
1,227.
Absolutely not. That is
No, there are. I have the books here. I have the art books. I have the things that go in depth explaining every
Wait, say that
creature.
number again for us, David.
1,227. It's over
That's not
that.
the same number you said.
No,
The
it's
same number you said like a minute ago.
1,227. No, I'm consistent. Roll the tape back. That's what I said.
Dude, people are gonna be rolling the tape back
This is
and
not,
calling
I'm not
you.
Matt Damon.
They're
Look,
gonna drag you, bro.
I am I am Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting. Is what I am right now. Like Timmy, Tommy, Bobby.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be honest. So I was at the Lego store this week, and I saw the Ultimate Collector's Edition for the new Millennium Falcon, and they have 2
Yeah.
Porg mini characters that come with it. The cutest things I've ever seen.
Oh, they're great.
Almost
I have a
made me
whole
spend
pack of
$800.
mini porgs. Porg's the best. All right, Aaron, did you have any other questions about Solo?
Yeah,
for
I do
Skylar?
actually. So after seeing this movie, would you support a Lando spin-off movie?
Dude,
Ooh,
I
good
am-
question.
I'm demanding a Lando spin-off movie.
That is great to hear,
Demanding.
actually.
Donald Glover. You know what? I talked a big game about L3. Donald Glover's the star of this movie. He is the bona fide star of this movie. He is a movie star, man. He's a movie star.
Well, this is
He
his year, without a
is so
doubt.
good.
This is the year of Donald Glover. So
This is the thing, though. Why would he do it? I mean,
Why
he
does
has
he
got
do this movie?
no. I'm saying, why would he do a Lando spinoff? What I'm getting at
That's
is
what I'm saying. I don't think you understand Donald Glover because, like, when I see Donald Glover, I think of kind of him being pretentious because he's this like thoughtful guy who's directing, producing, writing, starring in. Like, he seems like he would be kind of like the same way I see David Lowery and I expect him to be a snob. I expect him to be a snob. And the fact that he was on screen doing these things that he didn't carry any of that with him in this role. And it makes me think that he's not that guy. Like, he loved doing this. I think he would do it. Plus, I think $30 million.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's like being pretentious is what I'm concerned about. It's that he's on top of the world right now. He could do whatever he wants. He has the #1 show on television. Okay, he has the greatest show on
in what
television.
metric?
Unquestionably, the greatest show on television right now.
It has 800,000 weekly viewers.
#1. Okay. I'm sorry. It's not the Big Bang Theory. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
viewers. I'm
okay,
talking
but he
about
did
has
win an
the
Emmy for
greatest.
it last 2
He
years
has the
ago. so-
greatest. Yeah, he has the greatest show on television. You want me to say that? Okay, #1 in terms of every critic review, Rotten Tomatoes
No, I mean,
across the board.
there's-
It is
there's
the
no doubt.
single
It's critically
greatest
acclaimed, but
television
saying it's
show,
#1 television, that makes it seem like
unquestionably.
he's making
Inarguably.
tons of money on this, but the show's
So it-
not doesn't have viewers. But it's incredible. It's art.
Inarguably he is on the greatest show on television right now. Okay. He has total and complete control, and you would know that if you had watched Teddy Perkins or any episode from season 2 of Atlanta. And he can do whatever he wants there. He just drops "This Is America," a terrific song with a terrific video that immediately goes to number 1 on YouTube, number 1 on Billboard, number 1 on iTunes, number 1. I mean, just taking over the world. The guy can do whatever he wants right now. If Star Wars wants him in a Star Wars story, it's going to require at least $20 million. I think they would have to pay the man at least $20 million to be in.
You know what? They're going to be more than happy to do that.
I think you're right.
So I think
he's getting writing credits. I bet he gets his hand in writing it.
Yeah, he better. So I think a bigger hurdle than the money in the writing credits is the time commitment. So it's going to take him. He's talking about at least a 6-month commitment to make this Lando movie. Probably longer than that, to be quite honest. If he's invited in the writing process.
If you go on his IMDb, the only future project he has right now is voicing in Lion King.
Wow,
so that's a 3-day commitment to being Simba. Dude, he's got an open schedule.
He's doing so much more than what's on his IMDb, though.
Of course,
that's not
of course.
Working out.
Now,
right now
I'm not saying he's not doing anything. I'm just saying he's got potential to do. He's spending a ton of time on Atlanta, but I think he could make this his own thing.
Yeah,
and he could he could create art within this massive vehicle and do something that's never been done before.
It is interesting that he's not attached to other movies, which is I find that interesting because his name is not really popping up in anything in the future. Short term,
dude. How is he not in the new Spider-Man? They just announced the villain for Spider-Man is going to be Jake Gyllenhaal.
I think he's got a lot of things cooking. We're about to get a lot of Donald Glover announcements, but maybe one of those things is this is a negotiation with Lucasfilm, because if he could write the film or at least co-write it and have his friend Hiro Murai direct it, who is the guy that just directed almost every episode of this recent season of Atlanta. What's up?
And This Is America.
And This Is America. Right, yeah. Directed the music video, and over half of the episodes, almost all of the episodes, I think, except 2 of this season 2 of Atlanta. Bring him over, who's very adept director. Also, it would be I think it would be the first, certainly the first Asian American director of a Star Wars film.
And the first black star of a Star Wars film, it'd be a huge deal for Star Wars.
No, it'd be huge, and it would be amazing. It would be an incredible.
There's no doubt. And also, there's another thing. There's been all these stories going around. Lando Calrissian's pansexual, says the writer of the movie. None of that is even remotely addressed in this movie.
Of course not.
Which
are you kidding me? Kathleen was gonna allow that?
No, dude. I think that could be not being pansexual, but just being hey, he's in a club with 4 dudes and 4 chicks, just all around him. He's just
though. Keep in mind, Larry Kasdan, the dad, does not say he is, but the son, Jake Kasdan, says he is. But it isn't even just about being pansexual. He said that not even gender specific droids.
Oh yeah, I mean that's part of the movie.
He's down with droids.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Donald wants to make that Lando movie.
Levels. He wants to make that kind of movie. There's levels to this relationship with L3.
You know what's funny is you were talking about the title of the film before. I guarantee you, Phil Lord and Chris Miller did not want this film to be called Solo: A Star Wars Story. I guarantee you that was not the title they had in mind. But I feel like they probably pitched a bunch of titles, I imagine this meeting, with a bunch of Lucasfilm execs, the story group, right? That consists of Pablo Hidalgo, Kathleen Kennedy. I imagine they pitched ideas like the Kessel Run, which was probably turned down because it sounds like a movie about a 5K charity event, like a marathon,
right?
Called the Kessel Run.
And it could feel kind of cop out. That's one of the things is the whole story is about something that they talk about in the original trilogy. But honestly, you really don't make that connection back to the original trilogy throughout the movie that much. There's fan service. There's certainly some fan service, but there's a lot less fan service than Rogue One had, or Force Awakens, which is just fan service the whole movie.
Tell me there's no reference to Jabba the Hutt. Just
why would there be reference to Jabba the Hutt? Oh, maybe because immediately following this,
There is a reference to Jabba.
they go to work for Jabba the Hutt?
Oh,
Would that be why there'd be a reference to it?
I mean, that's
Of course
you
there's-
kind of expect that, but
No, I know. Of course there is.
I mean, can I just get one spoiler out of you? If you don't want to hear spoilers, it's not going to be a major one, but I need to know: is Greedo in this movie?
oh
Greedo is not in this movie.
no, Greedo.
No Greedo.
So Han does not shoot first. He does not shoot first in this one.
I wouldn't say that.
No Greedo.
Oh.
Wow, I'm blown away.
Okay. All right.
That's it.
Next question. Follow up to Aaron's. Might get a little more into spoiler territory, but is there a scene in this film where Han shoots first?
Yes.
Oh!
Good.
George Lucas is gonna be pissed.
Yeah, that's what happens, George.
It's like a huge moment too. It's awesome.
Wow.
Now I see why you liked it. Good
Dude,
call.
it's like here's the thing. Like I can't understand why 29% of critics are saying it's more bad than good. It's uneven at times. It's not a great movie. Like this isn't gonna be, like some well-remembered great thing. It's a lot more like Star Trek Beyond. It's a small story. It's episodic. There's not ramifications for the whole galaxy at every turn. Like the world's not gonna explode if they don't do this. Like it's very small. It's not like a really smart movie. Like it's interesting, but it's not like making you. It's not Last Jedi, but it's
Not
really
challenging.
It's not challenging. No, not challenging at all. But it's really fun, and you really like. I mean, I remember you talking about like your expectations were going in and just having a good time. I think as far as it being like a fun movie, it does that as well as it possibly could. And I think I'm shocked that 29% of critics are like, this is more bad than good. I'm guessing that they found like little criticisms and focused on them in a major way because there's things to criticize, but there's way more things to appreciate.
Wow. I can't say I was fully expecting such a positive review out of Skylar.
I wasn't. I went in not thinking that I was going to enjoy it very much. Like I honestly was like, eh.
Is this the best Ron Howard movie of the 2000s?
Oh.
Ooh, when did Apollo 13 come out? Like 97?
Yeah, that's late
This is the
90s.
best Ron Howard movie since Apollo
But
13.
you got A Beautiful Mind is in this
This is
millennium.
better than Beautiful Mind.
Oh.
I mean,
Rush, though. Rush
I
is
saw
probably the
Beautiful
best
Mind
film
when I
he's
was
made in the
like a 13-year-old.
2000s, right?
What's that?
Rush.
Oh, this is better than Rush.
But Rush is probably the best film he's made in the 2000s.
Yeah.
I found it boring. I
until
did
now.
not like Rush at all.
You didn't like Rush.
I didn't like Rush.
Okay.
I didn't understand why it was supposed to be so good. But, I mean, Hemsworth brother, so no foul there.
Okay.
Niki Lauda.
Apollo 13 was 1995. Thank you, Brent.
Nice.
Funny story about Apollo 13. Me and my brother were watching that movie one day, and my brother got it into his head that you couldn't say "damn it." That was a swear. You could not say that. But like in Apollo 13, if you said "Gee, damn it," that was fine. And so he started going around saying "Gee, damn it" left and right.
Oh my gosh.
And my mom was like, "What are you saying?" He's like, "It's from Apollo 13. It's okay."
The astronauts are saying it. Well, okay. I think that's enough Han Solo stuff. If we must, we turn to Deadpool 2. Anything else, Aaron?
We did all see Deadpool too. No, I'll just say that thank you, Skylar, for biting the bullets
Dude,
and
see
seeing
it
this
if you're
movie.
nuts.
Yeah, you definitely have me excited for Solo. So thanks for that.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
hyped now. I'm so
Totally.
hyped.
I don't want you guys to be crushed by like it being underwhelming, but I don't think you
will.
will. Like,
I'm stoked because of the sheer number of species. There's going to be at least times 2, 1,200. We're talking 2,400.
what was
at
that
least
number? What was
species.
that number?
1,227.
No.
Yes, it was. Roll the tape back. Anyone listening, it's 1,227. It is. A lot of species.
I don't believe that number for a second.
I will be so distracted in this film counting, by the way, because that's just an enormous number.
You should-
And
you
the
should see
fact
it
that there's
twice.
multiples of that number, it's going to be incredible.
Go to like Go to the 7 o'clock show and then go to the 11 o'clock show.
And then go to the 11, do the counting. Yeah,
Just
okay.
do the counting at 11. Yeah.
How's the music?
I'm really
How's the
excited to see this
score?
again.
How's the score?
I'm going to
like?
get
I
on
wish
Thursday.
IMDb under the parental content they had a number of species represented category.
How's the music in the movie, Skylar?
Not memorable.
Okay.
Better or worse than Michael Giacchino's score for Rogue One?
Rogue One had a more memorable score, although I've seen Rogue One like 10 times, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Okay. Well, Deadpool 2, a film that Skylar has seen twice. If we must, let's talk Deadpool 2 with our remaining 10 minutes.
Man, if we were recording a Deadpool 2 pod like the day after I'd seen it, I'm going to play marijuana. So why I thought it was so funny the first time.
So, is Deadpool 2 a good movie?
No.
And that's coming from someone who loved Deadpool 1, by the way.
And loved Deadpool 2.
Oh, initially,
Let me say this. I did like Deadpool 2 a lot the first time I saw it. I'll say this. The story structure is better than the story structure in Deadpool 1. Because I thought the story structure in Deadpool 1 was really bad. The way they start things off, like, at the end of the first act, and then jump to the beginning of the first act, and then, like, jump to the second. Like, I just did not like the structure of the first movie. And this one does have a better structure, although David's right. It creates, like, there's supposed to be, like, moments where you really care about the stakes. Like, they really want you to care about him, and, like, he's having these moments. But it's just like, oh, look, we're going to make women really replaceable, and we're just going to, like, let them die because they obviously can't do anything. Which is really stupid because in the comic book, she's supposed to be, like, a badass. But whatever. It's disappointing because, I mean, it starts off cool. Like, there's really cool elements throughout. Like, I thought the James Bond intro was really a good bit, and I thought that was a cooler James Bond intro than, like, the last James Bond movie had, the New Orleans one. But I thought that was really funny. I thought everything with X-Force was great. I thought the credit sequence was great. Everything else is kind of eh.
Josh
Like,
Brolin
they're
as Cable I thought he was the highlight for me.
Definitely.
He delivered despite not seeming like he wanted to be there very much.
So, I mean, I was a big Cable fan as a kid growing up. Cable was like, I was huge into Cable. And that whole line of comics and his whole character, the action figure and everything, big fan of Cable. I thought Josh Brolin was excellent.
Yeah, did you hear that? So Josh Brolin actually had Bruce Willis come on set to help him, like, really think about how Cable would have felt after he saw Looper, because he wanted Bruce Willis just, like, talk him through that whole process of, like, what it must be like to play that character. And
yeah, was it Joseph Gordon-Levitt or was it Bruce Willis?
It was Joseph Gordon-Levitt with a chin and nose piece. You're right, but he thought it was Bruce Willis.
Did he
so
bring
that's all
his
that really
blunderbuss with him?
Dude. Looper's so good.
I love Looper.
Looper's
Looper's
better.
It's awesome. It's my favorite movie about telekinesis. It's awesome.
It's not a movie about telekinesis.
I mean,
I forget that sometimes you hate on your Lord and Savior,
Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson. Yeah,
Dude, Rian Johnson's the best working director going right now. But
who directed Deadpool 2? Do we know?
No,
it's one of the stuntmen from John Wick.
Really?
It's one of the stuntmen from Ocean's 11.
Yeah, that's why in the intro it says directed by the guy who killed the dog in John.
Oh, I thought that was like another joke. Okay, that makes sense.
It's a funny bit because he is actually so spoiler alert, Brad Pitt is in this film. But it's not a spoiler because it's a blink and you might miss it cameo.
You guys told me about it, and I basically missed it because I blinked.
Yeah, you really, if you blink, you will miss it. And so it's anyway. Apparently, and I read this after the fact. Brad Pitt, who had been rumored to play Cable in like some early rumors and whatnot,
that could have worked.
Could have worked, yeah. But anyway. Because the director was his stunt man, his stunt double or whatever in Ocean's 11, he, as a guess, a relationship with them, and he agreed to come in, and he did his part in 5 minutes on a green screen, and that was it.
And that's
and
all
he
it
plays
took.
the Vanisher, who is an invisible character until he dies. And that's not a spoiler just because it happens so quickly. It's just like a funny bit.
Yeah.
And you see Brad Pitt for just like a moment.
Yeah, I mean, if we can talk about just like what works about this movie, very, very, very little works about this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I will agree that the X-Force stuff is probably the most fun of the movie, the most fun aspect.
Yeah.
But man, there are a lot of bad jokes in this movie.
So this is, I mean,
it's incredible the amount of poorly timed jokes, the weak punchlines. I mean, just mind blowing.
And I feel bad going on this part now just because we lost Skylar in our broadcast, and so that's why you don't hear the voice there. I wish sometimes that our messaging thread could be like part of this pod.
Sure, if we get
and there's
integrated.
Skylar's back with us, which is great. But the
website's screwing up. But
I wish sometimes that what we say in our messaging thread could be featured on this pod, because Skylar and I were basically at each other's throat over this film. Like, Skylar took it as a personal affront when I was basically texting throughout the film, which pissed him off just to be just that point. But
I hate when you love texting during movies too.
Do you know what's funny is how much more mad you were than the people next to me.
I still can't believe you walked out of Blockers halfway through. That
was a terrible film. So I will say this about Deadpool. The X-Force putting the team together sequence I thought was generally funny. Mm-hmm. You've got Rob Delaney and you have Terry Crews and
Dude, Rob Delaney, I thought his headshot bit was just really, really, really solid.
It's the best joke in the entire movie.
No, it's the best joke in the thing. Yeah, it's the best joke.
Yeah.
It's just like seeing chiseled Delaney so weird too. It's like, man, he was in great shape at one point.
Yeah,
it's no longer though.
Everything with him is funny. Like the fact that he lands and he's like the only one
even
that
him coming back to save him was so great.
Yeah, and the end credits. Did you stay for end credits, Aaron?
I did not. No.
Oh, okay. End credits are pretty significant.
Oh, okay.
That's like maybe the third funniest part of the movie, end credits.
I'm gonna have to find that on YouTube.
Then pretty significant. But anyway, let's just say it involves some time travel.
Oh, cool.
And they go back and save Peter.
Is this
as
more
well
Doctor
as
Strange stuff?
kill Ryan Reynolds when he's considering playing in Green Lantern.
Okay.
Dude, I thought
funny.
I've only ever seen the clips where he's in that the Wolverine origin movie,
X-Men
like the clip where he's fighting him.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's so bad. So then to see that
X-Men's Origins Wolverine, and they kill Ryan Reynolds, who plays Deadpool in that film,
because he played like a totally different version of Deadpool.
It was a very different version. Yeah.
He had his mouth sewn shut.
The movie is so bad. But anyway.
Did you guys notice in the very beginning, the very first initial opening sequence, that Ryan Reynolds had like a cold or something? His voice sounded like he was missing his nose. Like his nose was stuffed up as he was saying his lines. And I thought they were going to reveal something like he had his nose blown off or something. But no.
Yeah, and then he didn't. No. It was weird.
It was very weird.
It was like they had him for one day to get his lines down, and it was just the wrong day.
He was stuffed up. Like, he was really stuffed up.
It's weird, because he was, like, completely involved from top to bottom for the whole movie.
Well, of course he was. So this is what's interesting, is when you bring up the director of this film, like, do we know who directed it? The funny thing is I only knew it was the stuntman of Brad Pitt because I had looked up how they got Brad Pitt in this movie. But also I remember there was some hubbub about the director walking away from the project, from the director from the first Deadpool, and Ryan Reynolds being like, who cares? Mm-hmm. You know, like, we don't need him.
Yeah, because the guy who directed the first Deadpool was a video game director or something. Like,
was he really?
I don't know, but there was some dispute with the studio because I think he wanted more money. He wanted cash money because it made a ton, right?
Oh, it did buku numbers, and guess what? This one did buku numbers too. Like,
a 300 million opening world.
Softer domestically for sure.
125 domestic, 300 million worldwide.
The 125 domestic's incredible still. Like, they'll take that every day.
No, it's going to make a ton of money. The budget was still huge. The budget was over 100 million, 110 million, which
though.
is no excuse. No excuse for how bad
the green already, man. They're 90 million up right now.
No, I'm saying the CGI was so bad that they had
Oh,
no.
the CGI was atrocious. I think
It was so
the
bad.
budget, the cars, dude, cars should be the easiest thing to CGI.
Should be.
They're so easy to do. Like
And
I saw
people have
this
done it.
thing about they have this fake car that they use for car commercials where you drive it around and then there's a program that CGIs the car around like this little frame that you drive around. So whatever car commercial you're doing for, you just drive this thing around and then you put the car body on it digitally. It's really easy. The cars in this, like the action sequence where I'm guessing
Rough.
at some point Domino rode a motorcycle in, but then they took that out after a death, after Ryan Reynolds killed a woman.
Yeah.
So she no longer rode a motorcycle, I noticed. But which kind of makes it feel like that stunt actress kind of died for nothing, but whatever.
to put a button on the point earlier, though, on the jokes not landing. This is when he would first come back in. This felt like to me that Ryan Reynolds' DNA is so intertwined with this film that so much of the script is written in that, like, I'm sure in the liner notes of the script itself, it's just Ryan riffs. And like, I felt like this movie, we got the B and C and sometimes D level jokes and bits. Like he threw out 20 of them and they picked the wrong ones, because like there were whole sequences that I was watching that was like, those were the funniest bits. Like I could see how the setup was like, okay, there's some room for comedy here. Like they set it up. This could be funny. This could land. And then boom, meets a guy from the future and he wants to know 3 things. Is dubstep still a thing?
Terrible.
Which shark are we on? And what's with the metal?
I could write a better joke right now.
It's really, 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 really poor writing. Extremely
You know
poor
what a better
writing.
joke? Is Betty White dead yet?
Yeah. Yes.
That's good.
That's
good.
That makes me laugh.
So that actually brings up something in my mind. What if he had a director? What if he had a director like Taika Waititi? Could you imagine if he got to riff off of him? If they got to bounce off each other?
If Deadpool would have paid the $10 million required to get Taika, okay, like that's a significant portion of the budget. Okay,
How much do you think Taika got paid for Thor?
$350,000.
That's probably it. That's crazy, but
Yeah.
But
No,
now
I
I
really
guess-
do. I don't.
no,
I think.
I think you're exactly right.
$500,000.
I think you're exactly right.
Yeah. So.
For over a year's worth of work too.
Yeah. But I mean, it's an investment on his part. He knows that, right? I mean,
Right, and now he gets to make his Hitler movie, which will make big.
Yeah. And that's what you got to do. But imagine Taika. Okay, I know the studio, 20th Century Fox is. I mean, let's say Taika says $5 million, right? Taika's smart. He says it's going to be $5 million. Okay. 20th Century Fox is going to balk at that and be like, we can get a stuntman for $75K. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Stuntman's thrilled to do it.
And they're thinking that Ryan's going to direct it anyway.
Exactly. It's Ryan's
Yeah,
movie.
man.
He's writing it, he's starring in it. He's going to tell him where to put the camera. The guy just has to know how to operate the equipment and tell other people what to do. Just he needs to know how a production is run so Ryan can focus on the jokes. Imagine if you have Taika, that they just spent the $5 million. You got Taika throwing out those one-liners. This movie could have had a chance to be better than the first. It could have.
Yeah, because like Skylar said, the structure is way better in this movie than in the first one.
Sure. Oh yeah, definitely.
It actually
Especially
resembles
second and
the
third
movie.
acts.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just so much there. You know, what I was thinking, like watching this movie, it's just like it reminded me so much of that kid in class, in the back of the class, who just won't shut up, who's just constantly talking, constantly spitting out bad jokes. But every once in a while, he'll throw out a really funny thing, and everybody laughs. So that just encourages him to keep going and keep going and keep going. That's what this movie feels like.
But here's the thing.
volume player.
Here's the problem. Everyone on set was laughing at every single joke and every iteration of it.
Yeah,
So they had no clue what was landing, what was missing. And like,
Yeah.
I guess it really makes me appreciate Ragnarok more for just how like it's not easy to do jokes off the cuff and like do what Taika does. Like Taika's a special talent, and Ryan Reynolds is funny. Like Deadpool the original is funny. There's funny moments, but it's scatter shooting and it's like a shotgun. And he's just shooting jokes and he misses a lot. And sure, a few pellets are getting in there, but he's missing a lot of.
I mean, like honestly, even the whole premise, and I realize that the whole point of the Deadpool humor is to be wink, wink, break the fourth wall, make all the self-referential or any type of reference that you're not supposed to make in these films. But even then, the whole like Logan like setup was just really fell flat for me. Like it just was way too on the nose.
Yeah.
And I get that's like supposed to be the humor, but it's like, oh, they took the R-rated thing and then they went even further and killed the person or killed the main character. And by the end of this movie, I'm gonna die. And you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say about this movie. It's way too much, and there's zero nuance whatsoever. And it's just really.
I'm gonna have to deal with my kids who, heaven forbid, they see this film at some point. They're gonna ask me, "Daddy, who is Jared Kushner?"
Oh,
and I'm gonna have to answer that question. I'm gonna have to answer.
You're gonna say he's the president of the United States.
What do you mean? Who is President Kushner?
Man, so sad.
Man, I got better jokes than Reynolds.
And my kids, but that's the thing. My kid's gonna look at me and I'm gonna be like, okay, so you've heard of the president. There was a president named Donald Trump. He was a one-term president. Knock on wood.
Brokered a deal between North Korea and South Korea.
Yeah.
So we have this president,
and there's this thing where there's nepotism where he had his daughter as a senior advisor, and then also his daughter's husband, who had absolutely no qualifications to be in any type of political capacity of whatsoever, but he was like in charge of peace in the Middle East. And it was just big funny joke back then about like how on earth would the president's son-in-law have anything to do with such, like he's supposed to also end the opioid crisis. And my son's gonna be like, you mean the crisis that wiped out 50% of the population 10 years ago? And I'd be like, yes, that crisis.
That's the one.
That's the one that Jared Kushner was supposed to end.
You're describing the plot of the Golden Circle.
Kingsman and then my son's gonna be like, Dad, how is that funny? And I'm gonna be like, son, it's not.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
It's a really bad reference. It's so stupid.
I wish it was funnier. I wish more jokes landed.
Now,
I really do.
Now we probably should be wrapping up more. We beat up on the film. Can we just maybe go over some bits that did land? Because for me, this probably had a 20, maybe 30% success rate in terms of
30% feels fair. Like that feels like a more than enough, you can say.
One of them was about the song Frozen. Or sorry, Do You Want to Build a Snowman song from Frozen.
The best running bet in the movie.
Frozen, so.
Oh, you haven't seen? Oh, no. Gosh, that's right. Aaron doesn't see cartoons. I thought it was a good bit.
I thought that was maybe one of the best bits.
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
And yeah, I laughed at like, you're so dark. Are you part of the DC universe? I did laugh at that.
That was
bit.
good.
See, a lot of those jokes were in the trailer.
I didn't remember that one.
You know what? I'm actually surprised that they haven't done with Deadpool 1, and that I'm surprised they're not going to do with Deadpool 2. Is recut a version of it, kind of like they did with Anchorman, where they did like the Anchorman Redux, where like they just because when they film these movies, there's 100 jokes that they do on each joke. So why don't they just do Deadpool the recut, where now we just do every single other joke? Well, why haven't they done that yet? Like that would make buku bucks.
Yeah. Deadpool with a whole new set of jokes.
Ugh.
Still not funny
I would
though.
watch it.
Like that's
I
the thing.
watch it though.
Still not funny.
Yeah. What about those baby legs for you, Aaron? Was that funny?
God, did we really?
Come on.
Oh man,
that was funny.
Okay,
baby penis plays.
It's funny for 10 seconds. It
was way too long
and on about it.
Way too long.
The problem with it was that they called out every joke that after it was told. Like TJ Miller's job was to be like, "Oh, see, that's the reference. Did you get that reference?
So
I'll say it now."
So I know I'm supposed to be positive. I was trying to angle to be positive here, but this is TJ Miller's lowest point, right?
He was so bad.
It was really bad, and it
like the torture scene was funny, but everything else he did was bad.
He was you could tell he was like subdued and not happy. Like T.J. Miller is supposed to be this bombastic personality, and of course that's what makes him happiest. And he can't do that next to Ryan Reynolds. That's not gonna. I mean,
you could tell he was
and he was not ready.
So ready to go call in a fake bomb threat during the whole production of this movie.
I mean, he could have just showed him his performance in the movie, and that's an actual bomb threat.
Oh,
so, can we just say that the one thing that worked incredibly well beyond cable was Zazie Beetz as Domino?
Dude,
yes, Domino's highlight. Really great.
Amazing. She was incredible in that movie.
Aaron, did you appreciate her outfits?
Yes, I'm a huge fan of her outfits. Yeah.
David, how'd you feel about her outfits?
Great.
costuming did a good job.
They sure did.
So I thought like every bit she did was funny.
Yeah.
From the landing on the panda bear, like just like she's just lucky, and the whole like him, even the riff about like Wade saying you don't have any superpowers, these fake superpowers, these made up abilities, and then like she's landing on these blow up pandas and other things, and she's just incredibly lucky. It was a good bit. Like I thought that was fun.
I think it's an interesting superpower too. Like it's very unique.
No, totally.
And so even though the guy who came up with it can't draw feet, I thought it was still like just a really cool character. I'm glad she's the one who lived, because having it spew out like toxic vomit, or Terry Crews be able to do like
we can say there's a lot of good deaths. A lot of good deaths in
those deaths. Terry Crews.
Do you know who that was spitting out the acidic vomit?
Yeah, so did it.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought it was the place kicker from The Replacements.
Bill Skarsgård.
No, he played the holder.
Okay.
He's
holding all the kicks.
This is Paul Bettany.
This is definitely Paul Bettany. Oh, he killed it. I thought he was great. Like each death, I think there's something special in my heart for the Terry Crews death, because it was the first one, and it just like hit you like a bus, man. It was great that every death after that was just
Terry Crews was in it enough to be like, wait, okay, Terry Crews, are they actually is this a cameo or is this more than a cameo?
The weird thing is Terry Crews did a full media campaign for this. Like
he
was
did?
doing all the big talk shows as if he was going to be a big part of this, and like all the ads for this movie focused on X-Force, and like obviously now looking back, it was all that one scene jumping out of the plane, but like they made it seem like this was going to be a big crux of the film, which I think made that joke of them all instantly getting wiped out that much better. Like, because you have to give it was
fun.
Marketing more often than not, like, and Solo's a little guilty of this. The marketing can give away way too much third act stuff.
Yeah.
And this movie did not do that. Like, we had no idea Colossus was going to be there. Like, not Colossus.
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
Spoiler
Also,
alert.
are we going to talk about Megasonic teenage lesbian?
No.
Okay.
I thought she was great.
That interesting.
I liked her.
She was best.
I also like the cameo of the X-Men. That was a good little bit.
That was a good
Them
bit.
closing the door is a top 5 moment in the movie for sure. That was great.
You have to really quickly look and realize how many people they got in there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's packed. They're all sitting there filming the movie.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Dark Phoenix?
I don't know.
Which beast was which beast did they use? The Kelsey Grammer beast or
No,
that's that's what's his name?
I don't remember his name.
Big time actor.
is he
Not really big.
No, he's from Mad Max Fury Road.
Paul
Yeah,
Dano?
but you don't remember his name. He's
Paul
not
Dano?
big. He's not big.
Paul Dano.
Yeah. So which cameos are from X-Men? Brent wants to know. So we see James McAvoy as Professor X.
We do.
For a brief moment. Basically, there's the scene, and I think we can just spoil the joke. It is what it is. But Deadpool gets taken to the mansion, like X-Men, the actual school.
And we see that
And
in the
he's
trailer.
complaining. Yeah, you see it in the trailer. He's complaining that he doesn't see any of the actual X-Men that are like famous, and how they must not have had the budget to show them, that all he gets is Colossus and Negasonic and whatever. And he's complaining, and then as he's complaining, there's a scene behind him where the door is open, and you see Beast, you see Professor X, you see Ty Sheridan as Cyclops. So basically the young crew. I don't think Sansa Stark was back there.
She was not. I don't think she didn't
So
make
yeah,
it in.
Professor X, Cyclops. Who else did you see?
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quicksilver's there.
was back there too. And then
But I mean,
so you see them in the background, and Beast quietly goes over into the door and then closes it so he doesn't turn around and see them there.
Very good
And it's
bit.
just like a really small moment that's like really.
It's great because it played off the joke from the first movie. Because every time he came to the castle in the first movie, it was just empty, and he mentioned like the studio couldn't spring for anything. So it was a nice joke that built up for a couple of years, and then
Yeah.
that was great. I enjoyed that. I liked him riding
was a-
around in Professor X's wheelchair.
Yeah, that was good. That was pretty
Just
funny.
knocking over statues.
Yeah.
Good bit.
Yeah. That was
See,
good.
like, if I had to give this movie a Rotten Tomato score, I'd give it like, a 59, just so it's not fresh, but it's also not terrible. Like,
There are bits that land. Like I said, 20 to 30% success rate. So there are funny jokes in
if
there.
you could recut this movie as a 30-minute TV show where you just have all the bits that work, oh man, I would watch that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as a Netflix show, this would have been great. Netflix TV series, but it's a movie. It's a feature, unfortunately, and there's a whole lot of fat on it. But that being said, I did actually kind of semi enjoy the movie. I think I enjoyed it more than the first one, which isn't saying much because I didn't even finish the first one. So yeah.
I mean, I think that's something that we should announce is that I think we all knew Aaron was going to hate this movie before Aaron walked in and saw it during lunch today.
I was prepared. I was prepared to hate the movie.
I tried to prime that.
Yeah, I was prepared to hate the movie, and then I was bored, and I didn't laugh much in it. But I will say that I made it to the end, so that's a fair amount of success. Yeah,
that's good. We've gone so far without even mentioning at least the Sir Julian Dennison.
How did we not mention? Because I mean, that's the thing is this movie. Julian Dennison's good. I thought he was really good.
Yeah.
I thought he was more of the same of his character from Hunt for the Wilder People. Like,
did he have like
references to Tupac?
They fattened him up a bit, right?
Dude, he's bigger. And I love that his prison suit. He cut off from like the knees down. He looks so very fat in New Zealand. Like, he's fatter though. He's much fatter now.
He is. He's a roly poly. So before
I worry about him.
No, he'll be fine. One of the reviews that I read said that you need to see like a certain amount of movies before you watch this. Like Logan is one specifically, and I think actually you need to see Hunt for the Wilder People before you see this movie because his performance is directly inspired by Hunt for the Wilder People. I think.
Oh no! I mean, the writers said that they didn't think about anyone else when they were writing this character.
It feels like it.
Like.
They were writing.
I mean, I love the fact that they don't even try to explain away why he's here, but he's from New Zealand. Like, it's just he's this kid from New Zealand.
Yeah, well, his character might as well have been called Ricky. So
right, I'm just so grateful they didn't make him do an American accent because I could have seen that being a studio decision.
So referential. Why didn't they call him Ricky Bobby?
Ricky Baker.
Ricky Baker.
Because
Ricky Bobby's
0.1% of the audience was nobody's seen Hunt for the Wilder People. That's the problem.
But that's a funnier movie than Deadpool 2.
Oh, of course it is. It's the funniest movie ever made.
Well,
yikes!
Funniest movie in the Southern Hemisphere ever made.
It's top 5 all time.
Southern Hemisphere. I'm trying to think of a funnier Southern Hemisphere film, and I can't come up with one.
Animal Kingdom, I guess.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Hobbit 3.
Oh.
Ooh, Crocodile Dundee.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, this December marks 15 years since the release of Return of the King, which we will be doing a Lord of the Rings extravaganza on the pod, and I'm really looking forward
to it. I'm so ready for that. I love those movies.
I'm ready to revisit them. Like, I'll go a couple of years without like watching them all the way through, and then I have a good reason to go through and watch them all the way through, and I remember why I love them so much.
I think we should do a live stream watch and just do commentary while we watch it together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would love to do that. It'd be a 12-hour pod.
Mm-hmm.
Longer if we did the extended editions.
I only watch the extended editions.
What are the cinematic editions? What are those? I haven't watched those in years.
I seriously haven't. I feel like if I watched the theatrical versions, I'd be like, they're missing so much.
Like, they are. Yeah. Like, there's no other movie where I'm like, yes, please be 4.5 hours long.
Which one was it that it literally added 40 minutes to the runtime? I think it's the third one, but it's like 40 minutes. It's like
to a movie that's already incredibly long.
Yes. Yeah.
But do you remember what it was like in the early 2000s where the DVDs would come out and then like later the extended editions would come out and the people who bought the original DVDs just felt like idiots?
Yeah, do you remember they used to sell widescreen and the
and full screen
formats?
Full screen. I'm so glad I lived in a family where my dad taught me about the truth of full screen at a young age. But I had friends who would go over and like, yeah, we got the full screen edition. I was like, you guys are idiots.
Yeah.
Although I did like when you had the DVD, those double-sided, so you got widescreen and full screen on the same DVD.
Right.
Yeah. We would always watch widescreen. I'd always have to flip it over for my parents.
Why do parents love full screen so much? I don't know.
Because they see all the unused real estate on the screen and they're like, fill it up.
Good point. That's a very good point.
Yes, I want to see less of the picture. Fill it up. So stupid.
All right, we're over an hour and 10, so we should wrap this up. So bottom line, Skylar gives it an 88%.
Incredible.
To Solo, a Star Wars story.
And a 59%. You know what? I'm going to give Deadpool 2 a 69%.
Nice.
Okay, and we should end on Brent, who's been watching most of the pod. Thank you, Brent, for sticking around. He looked up this crucial information for us, which we couldn't look up because we're actually podding and we're live on the air. But they added 30
Brent.
minutes to Fellowship of the Ring, 43 minutes to Two Towers, and 50 to Return of the King.
Oh my
50
God.
minutes. That is so much time.
Perfect.
That's time for another 3 endings to that film. By the way, Fellowship of the Ring is the best of those 3.
Incorrect. Two Towers is the best of the 3.
That is not true.
It's absolutely
Aaron?
true.
Twin Towers is my favorite.
Twin Towers.
Never forget, baby.
Never
Dude,
forget.
Nicolas Cage. All
Dude,
right.
why don't we start saying never forgive about 9/11? Never forgive. That's what we start saying. 9/11. Never forget. Never forgive. I still haven't forgiven that bastard.
You remember the old daytime talk show called Forgive or Forget?
What?
No, that's not a show.
It was like a Jerry Springer style show. Yeah, it was this woman. She was a black woman that hosted it. I don't remember her name. I just remember. Hey, I can describe what she looked like, and it's totally fair game. But I want to say it was Star.
Star Jones?
It may have been Star Jones.
Okay.
But
She was
a
on The
Star
View.
Jones-esque character.
Okay.
And it'd be like Jerry Springer style. They invite 2 groups of people out, and then they like kind of air their beef, and then the person gets to either forgive or forget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Now, like, would they administer some sort of roofie to them for the forgetting? Like,
Yes. They brought out a hypnotist who would then actually make the people forget.
you know what? I actually remember this now. Was it?
Don't make a Bill Cosby joke. Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it.
No, I'm trying to think. Did they have
Don't do it.
Was it Robert De Niro that would come out and he would say, "Forget about it"?
Nice.
Okay.
Was that what he would?
That's a was it Red Eyes joke? What is it called?
I don't even know.
He plays the hypnosis. You know what I'm talking about.
Which, by the way, did you guys see SNL? Robert De Niro.
Oh gosh.
Is there even like an SNL cast now, or is it just all former movie stars?
I don't know, but I don't know how they get him to be. I don't know what he owes Lorne, because he goes out there not wanting to do it, reads directly from
He
the
does not look like he wants to.
They even faded to black to allow him to come back out to do the live from New York part, and even then he didn't say it with the rest of the crew.
That live from New York was the most cringy moment in the history of SNL. That single live from New York. I wanted to die. I was like, I wish the camera hadn't turned back on. I wish it was just a silent live from New York. Like at the end of a 24 episode when somebody died, and they just go, like a silent count.
I'm watching the clip, and I'm seeing the clips coming to the end. I'm like, they haven't really set up the live from New York. Who's going to do it? And then it fades to black just to let Robert De Niro come out from the bathroom to join the rest of the crew. And it goes up, and he's just sitting there, and he's like, everyone's like, live from New York, and he's like, from Saturday night. Like he just doesn't even
during watching that clip, I honestly I wished that John Goodman had died in 1999. I was just like, I wish John Goodman hadn't had to live to see this happen.
But we got 10 Cloverfield Lane
And Argo. We got Argo.
And the Roseanne reboot,
and we got
most importantly.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that John Goodman's a big Trump supporter now.
No.
You see the photo shoot where John Goodman is a Nazi?
No,
He's
that was Prince Harry.
Cookie.
That was Prince Harry. That was Prince Harry.
Ooh, I'm glad we all forgave him just because he married a half black woman. Good job, Prince Harry.
Well, forgive or forget.
Okay, question, like a legitimate question. What would have caused more of a stir in England? Him marrying a half black American or him marrying like a full Jew?
It's a good question.
Huh.
What's the
Is there a
better?
way to answer this question without coming across anti-Semitic?
I mean, just tell me what would England have thought?
So the thing is, if he does that, then we know that's a bigger sham marriage than his father had with his mother. So
That was a pretty big sham marriage.
yeah,
But dude,
His father's responsible.
but guys,
Oh, yeah.
Camilla is like what, a 2?
Compared to Diana?
Yeah, she's a Diana 2. Like Diana, although I'm not gonna say that on this podcast.
By the way, I need to point out, Andrew Hansen joining us right at the tail end of this. We've already gone over all the Han Solo stuff. Andrew's a big Star Wars fan, huge Star Wars fan. He's attended Star Wars celebrations in the past, as have I, as all true Star Wars fans have.
You went to the Star Wars celebration in Detroit in 3 years?
Yeah. I'm ready for a Star Wars celebration, Charlotte, 2025. I will be going to Chicago in April.
Charlottesville.
Oh no.
That's I can't tell you how uncomfortable I'd be with a Star Wars celebration there.
Those aren't lightsabers.
So coincidentally, there would be a tiki torch rally one of those nights.
That guy. Oh no, I can't. I won't make that joke. That's too bad.
I'm trying to think of a no blood for oil joke, but I can't think of it.
We're getting into Bitsville, and we're an hour and 15 in.
Yeah, we're going.
Let's be really honest though. This was way more concise than last week's. Last
week's pod, I never posted.
It's
you can watch it on Facebook Live. I've never even posted the audio. Now I will number this episode as if it skipped an episode because we recorded the last one, but I can't bring myself to post it.
Oof, that was a disaster.
It was rough. But the short of it is, go see Tully. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, very good movie.
Go see Tully.
It's in my top 5. That's no joke.
Oh yeah. I think it's in my top 5 too. It might not be actually.
In our next episode, we'll do our top 20 for the 2018.
We will. I was just about to read mine, but I realized that was going to
Finish
extend our pod 30 minutes at least.
Because I want to read mine. But this will definitely be in my top 7 or 8 movies for the year.
Very good.
So Solo will be?
Yeah.
So Solo, 88%. We will be coming back Thursday night to do a full spoiler pod this week. So stay tuned for that.
You know what, guys? I'm going to go ahead and say it officially. This is number 5 movie of the year for me.
Wow. And with the 4 ahead of it?
Annihilation.
Save
Paddington 2.
Okay.
Game Night. I Love Dogs.
Okay. I Love Dogs is number 2 for me. Number 1 is Teddy Perkins. We'll talk
not a movie.
More about that. It's a short film.
My number 1 is This Is America music video. So
we love the real.
Number 2 is the Saturday Live intro.
Live from New York. It's Saturday night.
All right, that's it, folks. As we say, hold on to your
Live from New York. It's Saturday night.